How much longer will you stay quiet? Or are you still their safe space? Who can they trust in the inner circle? Your authentic self, your vibes destroy their ego, keep their ego in check. You being quiet keeps their ego in check. You know what this is if it's for you. You know what it's about. Spill tea, oracle deck. What else? You're someone who keeps it real. You are authentic, but they wonder what you're thinking. They wish they didn't have to wonder this. They hate this. They feel like they don't know what you're going to do, and it's driving them crazy. Are you going to say something? There's some stuff you know about. Maybe you haven't been questioned. Maybe you haven't been angry enough. Are you going to say anything? They stay up at night worried about this. Keeping secrets. Guard secrets or be asked to keep one. Okay. They wonder if you have kept it. You know a lot and it scares somebody. Yeah, but what really scares them is that you've been quiet. Yeah. They got themselves into quite the situation. They know that. They made some bad choices. Took some bad advice. Made some choices based on impulse. Lack of impulse control. That's what they did. What else do you need to know about this? Pushing boundaries. Someone may be testing your limits. A couple more. Quiet contentment. Simple companionship brings you peace and satisfaction. Uncovered truth. Uncovered evidence will change your view on things. Are you still their safe space? Remember I said that earlier because that safe space card came out. They're wanting to test your limits, wanting to see what you know, hoping that if they just prod a little bit, that they'll get their answer. They just want to know because like they're waiting for something bad. Okay? Uncovered evidence will change your view. Okay, they're afraid uncovered evidence is going to be what it takes to push you towards saying something. But why would you? That's the whole thing. See, you're not like them. They expect you to be like them. People always do. They're going to expect you to think like they do. You know so much stuff that if they knew that amount of stuff, they would have said something for some kind of gain in some way. In some way. This says a lot about them. It does. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Yeah. This person is showing you who they are. You know that? Oh, yeah. You know, let me go to what's the tea real fast. Yeah, this person is showing a lot of people who they are. Some things are unraveling. Okay. Unbothered and uninterested both came out. That's funny. Well, I would just keep my hands off of it. Their karma, this person's karma, is that they're paranoid because everybody else has ratted them out, has sold information, used them for something, clout or money. Yeah. Or put it this way. This is someone who has been looking for that kind of opportunity to do that to someone. Think long and hard before you do that to somebody. Before you go forward with something on social media, I mean, really, it's got to be a last resort where people are getting hurt. You know, authorities aren't helping. Really, I mean, last resort. Okay? But this thing where it's just gotten so casual now that there are definitely going to have to be more laws against it, and they're starting to be. But this person would do that. They would regret it. They don't know what they're talking about. But no, they can't believe that with the amount of knowledge you have that you haven't done something with it. What else? Unfazed. That's funny. Unbothered, uninterested, unfazed. Doesn't care, didn't flinch. You can't shake me. Ignore the whole thing. See, that's what I mean. Stay unbothered, stay unflinched. They want you to be flinched. Okay. It's just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Just waiting for something to happen. Instead of going about their life, they are sitting around waiting for something to happen. Worried. Oh, that's miserable. That's miserable. Especially if you aren't spiritually awakened enough to realize that the stuff you're worried about is manifesting. Be more afraid of those feelings. That's why the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. That's some high-level spiritual knowledge that several presidents and others have tried to tell people in speeches. Because that fear is what draws in the fear. That's why you should be more afraid to let yourself feel the fear for long than of the thing actually happening. Same with any emotion. You stay in any emotion long enough, you become that emotion, whatever it is. A download I've been getting is, as above, so below, as within, so without. Your world reflects, your world out here reflects your inner world. If you're cluttered, like maybe you have organized chaos, okay? Too busy working to have time to organize. Well, like me, clutter, like I'm cleaning up now. I'm learning the power of decluttering, of staying organized, because the more organized I am out here, the more organized I am in here. Even if it means paying a professional organizer, paying people to help me, it's going to be that much of a time and effort savings. Even me sitting around thinking, oh, I'm too busy to organize, then you know what? I remain too busy to organize. But instead of letting myself think that, if I think I am working toward being more organized, I am hiring someone to help me organize, I'm hiring someone to declutter my life, that kind of thing. Focus on the positive, like switch that negative to a positive. Feel the negative, but just enough so that you know that you don't want to feel it again. Please watch Kevin Trudeau if you don't, because he's always talking about that, about like let yourself feel the pain even multiple times a day, and then think about what you will do to keep that from happening again, like an action plan, and then just diligently stay on that action plan. Transmute that pain, in other words. If this message is for you, it's because this situation with this person who's waiting to see if you'll talk because you have all this knowledge. I'm going back to the beginning here. This whole situation has possibly derailed you, taken your focus, something you have to deal with, because I am getting it's current. It doesn't have to be. It's however it could resonate somehow. There could be some reason you've listened to this. It's a situation that takes precious real estate in your mind if you let it, because it's not fair. It's one of those unfair situations, and I honestly, unfair situations are the ones that have gotten me talking the most. Ones where I know I did something or where I feel like it was my fault, I can understand. But no, the ones where it's like I was treated so unfairly, but it's like, was I really though? Because if you really believe as above, so below, as within, so without, all is mind. If you really believe that, then you believe you created all this, that there are concurrent lives, like other timelines, places where karma occurs, like from one timeline to another, and you're learning lessons that you need to learn. The lesson here is that no, it's not fair if someone's punishing you just for knowing something. Innocent bystander, didn't even do anything. No, it's not fair, but at the same time, you're going to be rewarded if you take the high road. If you focus on the good, if things have been removed from your life because of this, focus on what hasn't been removed. Focus on what you still have. Really, when things are removed, it kind of makes things easier, because you have to focus on certain things. When you have too many things going on, too many opportunities, the focus goes all over the place. So the more narrow your world becomes, the more you have to focus on what actually works, on what you actually have. And you are someone who has a lot. You just need to think about it. Focus on it. I mean, think about what you have to work with today, okay? Somebody needs to hear this. Think about what you have, like your assets, okay? I used to do financial statements for a living. There's something called a balance sheet. On the balance sheet, you have assets, you have liabilities, and you have ownership equity section, okay? Assets are the things you have to work with. Everything from money in the bank, cash on hand, plant, property, equipment, cars. But then again, if you're looking at this in the context of like a corporation, a company's greatest assets are its human resources, its people. And that's harder to quantify, especially because payroll is in the expense section, which rolls up into equity, okay? Payroll is on profit and loss income statement. It's not on the balance sheet. But think about what it would be. Think about like what you bring to the table as far as your special skills go, the things that aren't on paper. You have a phone and a tablet and a laptop. Okay, those are 3 assets. But what about things that you're good at? Things that you don't have an invoice for? Time. How much time can you free up on a daily basis? Make a list of what time you can use, what you want to work with, what you have to work with, what your goals are. Spend time every day working toward those goals. Don't waste time gossiping, living in fear because somebody wants you to live in fear. Can you believe they said this about me? No, don't do any of that stuff. Just ignore. Just ignore. Change the subject. Have things prepared to change the subject. Things that you're working on to make your life better, to cause a big change that you need in your life. Encourage yourself. Think about encouragement, affirmations, but have a list of things prepared so this doesn't occupy your mind. Reflecting. That's you. What can you think about besides this? All right. I just got a big derailment, like a train. Wow. I'm seeing like a big derailment, like I said, along like the Swiss Alps or something. I see like mountains and snow and this big train derailed. Anyway, don't let this do that to you. It's also hit me like on the subject of trains. We talk about a train of thought. To get your thoughts going in the right direction, that's what I mean about having a list. There's so much power in having a list. Have a list of things you can do, things you could think about to replace certain thoughts with. Because certain things will just come along and smack you. You know, like, I don't want to think about this. But a friend brings it up or something. Well, have a list prepared so you can handle anything. When it comes up, okay, nope, let's put the brakes on this, let's switch gears. Train of thought, how it's like one thing after another. Like you might not feel like it at first, but just put one foot in front of the other like a train car. A train of thought. That's why it is a train of thought and a flow of thought. That's why it's so hard to come out of like creative thought, like if you write books or something, which I've had to do that for a living. And if you've got people around pressuring you, taking your time, it's not something you can do because you can't let your brain fully inhabit the characters. It's like going into a dream state. Thought flow. Think about how hard it is to stop a train. Because once you get chugging along, like you might not feel like it at first, but once you get chugging along, you get your entire train on a different track. Do you know what a feat that is? Don't even worry about putting the brakes on, though. You don't have to really do that. You just start being like, okay, I'm going to chug. Like right now I'm full speed ahead on this anger or being upset. I was wronged or something, whatever. Okay, you're full speed ahead on that. Well, what if you just put the brakes on and be like, you know what? No. Have something around like some smelling tubes, something like I have this right here. The brand is called No Crap in It. I gotta do another video about that. Oh gosh, it smells good. Something to reset you. Or even like hold a crystal or precious stone necklace, something. Even if you just hold it for special occasions and be like, okay, when I do this, I'm going to get my list out. I'm going to put myself on this other track here. But you can only really do that. You can only know the tracks that you need to go on if you have a list. Like I do it myself. I started doing it recently. But this thing where you're just aimless, it means you'll just give your time away to anybody. Like somebody calls, and I'm not saying it's not important to have friends or whatever, but some people, it's their whole life is just sitting around for whoever calls, whoever texts. And you just got to make it a point, unless you don't have to work, unless you want to make it your full-time job. I mean, you have to act like it's your full-time job and put the hours in. Regardless, you're putting in full-time work hours, okay, into an action plan of some way to make money, some way to have financial freedom that lines up with what you enjoy, what you're passionate about, okay? Because really, most of our problems in life, if you want to call them that, come back to money. That's where they get you. Money's just a frequency and it flows to you easily. That's why you can't really get hung up on it. Your long-term goal should be what you would do if you had all the money in the world, like if you didn't have to work again. You just suddenly had billions of dollars at your disposal, what would you do? But then think about your goal in like a year or a month. A month. Like how many hours a day would you have to set aside to hit a target of a month? My goal here is to keep you out of this crap with garbage stuff going on. Get your brain headed in the right direction. What you focus on grows. If you focus on lack, not just thinking good things, but feeling good things. Telling yourself you feel good things before you think them. If you just start to get that icky feeling of, somebody's talking about me, I'm being treated unfairly, may we find our tribe, our people, and create our worlds to our liking. You put out good energy, and you receive good energy in return. Put out the energy that you want to attract right now at any given time. Any given time, just embody that feeling of what you want to attract, and you'll start attracting it. Tell yourself you're attracting it. Tell yourself. Now, if you're going around being like, oh, I'm just going to be disappointed, I'm afraid to believe this, then you're just drawing in the fear. Look, I had to learn it the hard way. I went through a series of things a few years ago. Even while I was doing this channel, I went through a series of things a few years ago where it just told me my mind had to be bringing all this in, because it became almost funny, the stuff that happened. Like, I would think of something, I was so scared, I was going around just in so much fear, and it would happen immediately. And it happened enough to get my attention. I'm like, okay, I'm bringing this in. Everything changed after that. Everything changed. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but may you learn it more gently than I did, okay? May you learn that you are creating this. An energy field around you is what you're really interacting with at all times. You're in your own energy field, your own little bubble. Your reality is not everybody else's reality. Put out good energy and you'll receive good energy in return. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. It means all the time. I know because it works. It works for me. Not even that long ago, I was around people who just did not have that philosophy. It was very hard to live around them. A certain person in particular was just very negative, toxic, never encouraging. It's just been so good to get away, to change the people I was around. I had to for survival, for my own survival, I had to do that. But one of the reasons it was so hard is because I didn't realize it then, but I was being repelled from that energy. That's what it's good. You put out good energy. Look, it's all about energy, feeling energy, spirit, energy. Not everybody's energy is for you. It doesn't mean you're not dealing with the trigger. It means you have dealt with the trigger, and the only way you can deal with that trigger is just by not being around it. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Sometimes it's just such a bad situation that you just feel like you're being repelled. Okay, put out good energy, and you're going to seek the energy that you desire, the people that you want to be around. Put it out there, and you'll get something good back on it. Start with just saying it. Just start with saying, people love me. The right people are attracted to me. I'm attracted to the right people. I feel good. I attract people who encourage me. I encourage other people. I uplift other people. Start speaking the kind of stuff you want and create your reality. You put out good energy. It is spoken, it is written, and so it is.